Runners basketball teams for a second, who both looked a little different coming into tonight's conference matchup against the Roos. While the women are starting to hit a stride, the men's team is beginning to adjust to a competitive nature of conference play. With a week to reflect on their loss to the Lancers, Coach Barnes noticed that the team hasn't been contributing off the bench as much as they'd done in the beginning of the season. Not only did that happen tonight with the bench scoring 41 points, yeah, that's the same stat line from the women as well, but Justin Edler-Davis had a 25-point night, a guy who Barnes just had a conversation with ahead of tonight's game, saying that he's never witnessed a player work so hard in practice but not see his shots fall in a game. Coach's words must have had an impact.
"You're going to be in my book." And he laughed at me and said, "For a good part of the book or a bad portion of the book?" I said, "Well, it depends on how this season ends, which part you're going to be in." But I've never seen it. I mean, like he makes shots in practice. He's in here all the time. I just keep believing, and I want the story to end that, man, it happened, because I've never seen it before.
Well, it seemed to pay off, and so did that bench. Again, 41 points from both runners' teams. That's pretty incredible. Well, while their men were looking to change some things up, the key for the women in conference play is to keep the drive going that they've already started off with. They're sat at 2-0 heading into tonight's game, now 3-0, and while there are plenty of options for players to get the hot hand, Coach McCall knows when Vanessa Austin is on her A game, this team is pretty dangerous.
You know, we want her to be that, how Shaq was with the Lakers and how Shaq has been throughout the league. You know, Shaq was a dominant player. He might not have been the best player on the floor, but he was always dominant. That's the great thing about this team, and I've been saying it all year long. You're not going to get the same person scoring all the time.
So I guess the one thing we learned this week, when coaches talk about their players, it seems to get through, because every player they talked about had big games tonight.